time. It's the underground. Let's go! Alright, we're back. Man, Reaper. Legendary Steely at the gate. And good to see Flip. Thank all of you guys for the super chat right at the gate, man. Get the show started. Much love to the fullest. Good evening, everyone. Much love, purebloods. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, never lacking. Some stuff popping off. Um, I dropped several videos beforehand pertaining to some of the stuff we're going to talk about. And then just a bunch of stuff here to cover tonight. I try to fit as much as possible into the title, but that really does it no justice. Scora, a member of the underground for 7 months. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback, everyone. John Boy, stay hydrated in the crazy heat, that's for sure. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well. And a thank you to everyone out there that shares the stream, gets it out there in front of eyes that I cannot reach. Appreciate it more than you know when we're being censored more than you know. That's for sure. But much love to everybody fighting the fight out there. I hope you're doing well. So, just going to try to touch on some of these lighter weight things, but that are still important, and just kind of move through them and get to the bigger stories here, because the bigger stories deserve a little bit more attention here and a little bit more time. So start off here saying also much love Ski B, member for 16 months of Underground, everybody out there. Much love Jay from the Ville, Lisa, Nick, Jeff, Jack, Brady's Ghost, John, everybody. And Hopkinson as well for 14 months, man. Everybody. If you guys are Sky Watchers, we've got a comment out there that has popped up on the radar. This is 10p. And it was kind of hidden, but now it's out in the open. And I was waiting on it to pop back out to where you could see it. And that's what it's looking like right now. If you guys capture any objects out there, let me know. I'd love to share it. But this unknown comet people are tracking through the solar system, and we've got two tails coming off the back of it. We got an ionized tail, then you got a debris trail, and it may brighten here in the next couple days, weeks. If it does, we'll keep an eye on it. Anything it brightens, it's going to put on a show. We will try to cover it. Now, let me just jump right on in to some ancient biblical prophecy that they're talking about unfolding. Anytime this stuff comes up, it's worth at least trying to see what they're trying to say, and making some sense of it, seeing if it's holding any water, so to speak. And this one has to do with the water in the Dead Sea and around it. There's an old biblical prophecy linked to the end of the world, and it may be beginning to unfold, they say, in the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea, landlocked, it's got a salt lake that's bordered by Jordan to the east, the West Bank to the west, Israel to the southwest, and it sits in the Jordan Rift Valley. It is the lowest elevation on Earth, which has always been super interesting to me, that this exact spot is the lowest elevation on Earth. That's pretty wild, and I think important in its own right. But freshwater pools filled with plants and aquatic life have emerged right next to, and I guess surrounding, this barren body of water. This all sits about 12 miles east of Jerusalem. And the development is extraordinary because the Dead Sea, again at 1,400 feet below sea level, is nearly 10 times saltier than the ocean, and it ordinarily kills fish within minutes. They say that this dramatic change mirrors visions recorded by the prophets Ezekiel and Zechariah more than 2,500 years ago, which describe living waters flowing east from Jerusalem and bringing life to the Dead Sea. Now, they're saying the whole thing hasn't transformed at this point, no. But how this is even happening is in some remote areas out there around the planet where you have desert type of atmosphere. Sometimes you have veins and rivers of water that flow underneath. So you can have a complete desert on top, but yet there's water flowing. If you dig deep enough, you can hit it. And I was actually reading a story here in America off of one of our coasts where we've got wild horses still, pockets, I believe the Carolinas, and that the horses dig super deep into the sand to find fresh water because they're surrounded right there on the coast with salt water. So that's how they survive the whole time, digging down to get the water. But that's how this water is getting there. It's coming from underground and through aquifers. And is it coming from the direction of Jerusalem? That I don't know. But it's interesting that they're popping up, because if more and more continue to pop up and it starts to shift over, that will be pretty crazy. There's been other things happen there that shouldn't happen there as well. In the past couple of years, they were saying that the surrounding areas shouldn't have any vegetation or vegetative life. Everything's like always dead. But like they're seeing things popping up. So it shows that like more fresh water is like seeping into the ground, into the earth around it. And when you've got full-blown pockets of fish and everything else clamoring around it, it's rather interesting. Again, if the whole thing converts over at any point, it's done. And I don't know what anyone's going to say besides the fact that you've witnessed a prophecy come true at that point. But there's several things in the Bible that could happen, and you can say, hey, I'm living in that day in the Bible. Point to an exact line of scripture, especially dealing with the end times, and say, we're right there. Another one is Damascus. The day Damascus gets hit and gets wiped off the map, just like it's prophesied. And another one is Israel. When Israel gets leveled and wiped off the map, not one stone left unturned, as Jesus said. Yeah. Well, anyhow, crazy that you've got another one of those things. And let me go to the other prophecies of Euphrates and all that stuff, like drying up and armies marching across it, and the water level super low out there. And not to mention, they can be cut off. In the upper reservoirs, like up in Turkey and everything else, the guys that control the flow of the water upstream, they can start to cut that off, especially in war. And again, more prophecy and potentially unraveling here. But I want to share a clip of this. This is something you don't see every day. I couldn't imagine living up in Greenland. I would like to visit if it's ever possible, but Greenland is the closest piece of land on the planet to the North Pole, so to speak. And the North Pole, in all reality, is nothing more than what they try to show us and tell us. They say is a pole sticking in ice. Others say that there's no ice at all, and Admiral Byrd, others have said that there's a hole up there. Now, whether there's a hole or not, it sounds wild and crazy. There is an oceanic depression, which in itself is nutty and wild. Like, what do you mean? The earth starts to curve and drop down into a depression. What drop down into what? Well, that's where the story ends. And you can't go there just like Antarctica, because it's loaded with military. Speaking of Antarctica, I did see a fresh clip today of a flight going out of there, and someone got fresh footage, and they were showing the dry land right beneath it. And they were like in awe. They were like, look at all this dry land. We're like in the middle of like this huge ice barren place. And like, why is there dry land for like no reason all over the place? Good question. But they won't tell us anything. Anyhow, when you're in Greenland, you have a chance to see some crazy stuff like this, which is huge icebergs that break loose and start heading toward the coast. They don't normally hit houses and cause disaster, but I have shown in the past some that have come so really so yeah, they have done damage. Um that's what get that monster rolling over right there. Some of them can be really beautiful when they do this because parts of the iceberg's been submerged deep into the cold water, and when it flips over, it's this wild, deep hue of blue that you only see when that happens. But yeah, that thing just flipped over and just kind of sitting there on the coastline. Um, Pretty wild. Now, that's just the beginning of things. We've got fires breaking loose everywhere, and I'm going to tell you, man, it seems targeted. It seems really extreme. And well, let's start with France. France and Spain in absolute emergency mode. France has ordered the largest peacetime evacuation since World War II, and is raging and think meaningless pond for the coffee. 200,000 people flee areas, and here's a shot from a distance, an aerial shot, drone shot. France looking apocalyptic in the distance. And the fires, you see right here. Just look at this. People running with the horses in the flames. Everything going up. I covered some of this footage. I also showed where off in the distance there were flames, and within minutes, where the camera was recording it, the solar panel in the camera, everything just got roasted. The wind pushing it hardcore. So the temperatures there baking in the area of Spain and France. France was seeing temperatures that were like, well, they're breaking records. They're seeing record, I'm going to tell you, weather warfare type of numbers. And they're burning them out um, big time. Well, you've also got fires across Italy, in Greece. Like this whole area is on fire, getting torched. But Spain and France, I showed in the video that I dropped, there was a separate clip, an absolute wall of fire out of Spain that was just crazy. That these guys were trying to do something with this little hose, and it was ridiculous. It was raging so bad, so tall, higher than the treetops, and they weren't going to do anything to it with that little hose. Sometimes with these fires, like that one right there in the distance, I mean, look how massive it is. A little bitty hose, one hose is not going to do anything to that. You have to start cutting out fire lines, man, like digging them out with bulldozers. And highways, roadways sometimes serve as good stopping points. I know it happened here on my own property. I had this whole property burn up, and had Forest Services show up and tell us they had it under control, and they didn't. They let the whole thing burn, and the only thing that stopped it was the main road. Um, it's just crazy. It's just nuts, man. Never let Forest Services, never leave them thinking that they're going to save your property. Don't you ever do it. Because when you return and everything's burned down, long as there's not, if there's not a structure in the middle, if it's like a property, they will let the entire property burn. And they're told to, they're taught to, they're taught to try to contain it and let it burn in a circle until it burns itself out. But it will sit there and burn in a circle all the way to the freaking top of a mountain and burn the whole freaking thing. But as long as they keep it contained to that mountain, they're happy. But they don't care if it's your mountain. And trust me, I fought with a neighbor, just two of us, taking jugs of water, fighting a fire on a mountain. It was insane. Into the night, into the dark, getting caught, trapped on the inside, having to dive out of the ring. It was wild. It was a wild experience. Did all that fighting to knock back a fire, like I was telling you. And the very next morning, like, we thought we had it all good, man. And we seen one little tree at the top smoking. And we rolled up, we seen Forest Services. And they were at the bottom. They were looking up like, yeah, we see that, man. There was like a bunch of them. I was like, okay, well, that's the only place of concern is right there. Long as you guys say you got it, then I'm leaving. I'm finally going to go home, get a shower, get cleaned up and everything, and fight a fire for over 24 hours on a property. And we leave just to get phone calls from neighbors saying, yeah, the fire's kicked back up on your property. You can't believe it. By the time you get back, everything's burned up. And Forest Services are gone. Absolutely nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen. And they get away with it again if you don't have any structures or anything up on the property. That'll always be the first thing that they ask. But they will let it rage. I'm telling you, man. You got to have your own plan. It got so bad out here, I was ready to buy an old fire truck. I ain't kidding you. Had some cats throw down. They ain't got one out here. The closest place is like 30 minutes away. You know, everything burns down before they even get to it. And yeah. Anyhow, let's go to some aftermath photos of it just to show just how bad a lot of the area it's been hit. They got lucky here. I mean, some of these trees still standing. But a lot of the houses gutted. You're going to have that with fires as big as what we've seen. But on top of all this, I told you, it's extremely hot, like crazy numbers. France has seen 5,000 excessive deaths due to the heat here. Going on 6,000 now. Because of the heat, people, you know, this is it's a weapon, man. People out there sometimes show up in the comments like, oh man, it's summer, we're used to it. It should be 100 and some degrees. Like, no, it shouldn't be like this extreme in so many places for so long. Like, we have records breaking. That's definitely not normal. And when I see them, it's like, oh man, it's just summer. I start to think they're just a shell, or they're stupid, or they just don't. They're just living in a box. They're not looking at that. Almost a huge chunk of the West is on fire. D. White was telling me, oh yeah, he went out and his vehicle was covered in ash. And I'm like, oh yeah, fire's still going on. So I went over and I looked, and man, it just still raging out of control over there. And here's a new one to add to the mix. You've got a monster fire breaking out near Area 51. So this is sparking theories of secret testing, and I guess you're going to have that when a place is so quiet about everything, but you can see Zoom in here on the fire map. I'm gonna back out on that afterwards. I'm gonna see if we catch up these other ones. This is the Quail Springs Fire. You can see where Rachel sits. This is where you're gonna have the little alien. So it would be absolutely covered in smoke right now. And then Alamo off to the right down here is where some newer stuff is up. You've got basically some hotels here. If you want to go check out Area 51 or trying to see it ever, I don't even know if you're going to be able to from here on out. They've actually closed Tikaboo Peak for the rest of the year, and some are saying maybe indefinitely, even though some have gone up there brazenly and went ahead and went, trying to act like they didn't know any better. I'm hearing that they've got signs and they've got stuff up now, and they've got cameras and listening devices all over that area, just so you know. Going up to Tikaboo Peak, and when you get to the very top, there's a camera overwatching everything. I dropped footage here recently of UFOs on the tarmac there, the stuff that we caught, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, crazy, shimmering objects and long cigar-shaped objects. There's always something going on at Area 51. What I always wanted to do was go back and get a night mission in. It's one thing I didn't get in. And yet, remember what I said. There's a camera up there, so they're watching everything. When we went here, we did some firsts, though. I got to mention it. We did the first live stream ever. We did me, Spiro, and Cannon's first live stream that we ever knew of anyone in the game ever doing of Area 51. Everything was all documentary. Anything you ever saw, History Channel, Discovery Channel, anything, was always documentary. There was nothing ever done live of Area 51. We did it. It was hard to sell, but we pulled it off. That was the first. It may have been the only. To be honest with you. And then I launched the drone and got what I knew of as the first and only drone footage at the time of Area 51. You couldn't see much from nothing. The small, itty-bitty, tiny little white buildings, but you could see them. And you could see them from the drone that I launched from Tikaboo straight up in the air. Because I knew if I went forward and went down out, I would have never got to it. It was 26 miles away. That's how far away you are on Tikaboo. But with cameras and all that stuff, you can zoom in. And that's what we were doing from Tikaboo Peak. From that peak, you can see into the base. It's very interesting, to say the least. And that whole experience was just one for the record books, bucket list for sure. And like, I'll never forget it. We had to take quads on half the trip. We had to drive up a trail, we come to a dead end, hop on quads, ride quads all the way up as far as you can go. And then once you got as far as you go in the quads, you had to hop off the quads and take off on foot. It was nuts. It was a cool adventure. I never forget that on the way back down, Spiro flipped his quad, and you're up on the mountains out in Nevada, man. You're way up there. His quad rolled, and he was filming. We got it all on camera. It was crazy. All in this footage, man. It rolled several times. He ran me. He like a fullback hit it, and then like you'll see in the footage, I run right after he stops. I run right up to the back, but put my hands on it. Like, it was so crazy because if it wouldn't have stopped, it would have trucked him, and it was gone. It was off mountainside. I'm talking like way up there, man. But we saved it. Crazy experience. Anyhow, that's my Area 51 story for tonight. And let me back out. It's only going to show us that one, isn't it? What we got up here? It's focusing in on that one. It's not showing you none of the other stuff. This whole region up here is on fire, and the smoke's billowing. Well, I guess you can see all the little pockets right there. The smoke plume is going up. It's one thing it doesn't really show too well. You kind of make it out. You can see where the smoke plume's going up over, and it's going to dive down into the East Coast here. So we're about to get another round of smoke so that everyone knows. You're like, well, Canadian wildfires. Well, yeah, it's part of the Canadian wildfires, but also our own. Um, Everything moves east. So just a heads up, man. You're going to have more alerts. When you mix in all the smoke with what's coming our way in terms of hot heat, it's going to be super dangerous. So we've got blackout fears erupting. And I put the video out earlier on this, and almost immediately in the comment section, people were saying blacked out. Like I seen California saying it, Southern California, there's some other places, people that jumped in there. I can't remember where from, but you can just go look at the comment section over there, and you can see people are already in it. They're already in blackouts. It's begun. Like I don't know what to say. Like we warn about these things. It's only going to get worse from here. If you're getting a taste of it from now, you can mitigate the damage. I would never ever again, if I had it my way, can control it. I would never live without having a solar setup ever. Uh, have a grid connection and all that good stuff. But for when the grid goes down, man, you better be ready. And to have, a good little backup battery or two and some solar panels is going to do you some good. Keeps the fridge going. I mean, it depends on the size. You keep the whole house going if you wanted. I know. So a small little setup can keep the fridge going and keep some lights on and this and that, but you're talking about in record breaking heat right now, right? You need an AC going. People are dying in the heat. It's that dangerous. That's the biggest thing about this. It's like you really, like you have a chance to shut off heat or shut off the power on people. You're going to do it in the middle of the day when the heat's at the highest. Like, get out of here. Like, no, they should be doing it like overnight or something. Like, they should be playing a little bit better. And what is that? Silver Sailor, 20-month underground. And much love, my brother. You got that right. Thank you for the comment. I just don't want to see no one get caught up in this. You got emergency orders now. And I'm sure you should know of this if your state's affected, but I'll tell you here, Arizona, Arkansas, kind of widespread, right? Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana. And they end there with Montana, but they go on to say Nebraska, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. Like they added all of them afterwards. Just kind of checking the comments here, trying to see if anyone's saying anything about. What's crazy also is like when it gets this hot, for people like if you're trying to pour groundwater, like water, your local water, and like it's like this hot, it's super super hot out, record breaking. Like the cold water is not even cold. I've heard a lot of people complaining about that. Every state's different when it comes to the water, but there's like a water emergency, and it's something that we really got to key in on from here. We got to make sure that you have access to fresh water. I mean, this should never even really be an issue on a water world when we have a technology at our fingertips like desalination. Should never even be an issue. I guess it just shows the level of evil that this place has. Like it's being misran so bad. Like this some things should be, I don't know. But you see what they've done. They've taken all the ancient ways and they've dismantled it. All the ancient ways of this whole world running off the ley line, grid frequency, natural vibration, healing vibration, all of that. 0 point energy, all free. They wiped it off the map, just to control. But it's wild to think there was a point in time where this whole world was set up the right way. That should be inspiring that a higher power, who whatever's overseeing, as evil as this place is right now, with the fall in here and everything else, like there was a time where this place was set up nicely, utopic. It's kind of crazy if you read what Thoth writes about the whole thing. He says that entities came here. There was a war in Mars, and these entities came here. And when they came here, it was peaceful for at first, for the first little bit, but then it went south, and that's when the destruction came. The island sank and everything. So that's pretty wild. They offset, these things came here and offset the energy in the way that this place was running, and it was running just like we know it was. Tartaria, the legend of it, is real. There's maps out there that name it, that show it. They tried to erase it from history, just like they did a lot of stuff. Like, we're so lied to, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I look at the ancient stuff. They didn't have it in mind to lie to me. They were just recording what was going on. And when I look at that as the proof of the pudding. Especially different civilizations across different timelines and different parts of the planet that should have had no contact, no interaction, no knowing of each other, but end up doing, showing, and saying the same things. Like, something huge was going on here. And like, I can't help but think myself, like, if I wanted to leave a message to the future, where would I leave it? Where would you leave it? You think go in your backyard and leave it? If you want to take it serious, you want to put time and effort, money, and all this other stuff into it, and you have a message that a future civilization would find, where would you leave it? I instantly think that you have to start with the ley line system. You have to start there. That is where all structures, ancient churches, all these other things are built in these locations for a reason. Okay, so I would start there. I would find a ley line intersection, and I would bury it there. Because anyone, just like I'm telling you now, if you were wise, if you had the time and the resources, you should go checking all these locations, all these intersections. There's one right off the coast of Florida, right there, Bermuda Triangle, so to speak, and there's a bunch of different ones around the planet. But there's big ones, there's big intersections, and those areas carry high levels of energy, whether people are hip to it or not, or can wrap their head around it or not. And there's something special about that. There's energies there. Again, this whole planet was set up like this, man. That's why so many places were built on certain lines. One's called the fire line. It goes all the way around the planet, where you've got mega structures, ancient mega structures from Teotihuacan all the way around the planet. There's a whole line of them that are built on this fire line. And this is real. The ether is real. And, we're being played. We're hip to all this now. We know it, and we know we're being played by a government. It's never been so bad ever. The grid, if it goes down, it's part of a reset. And I can't help but think that in a massive grid down event, it would be a nasty situation. And they would have to be prepared for that, which I believe that they are. But there would be a reset. There would be a fundamental shift in the way that this whole country moves and operates in the mix of it. That's what's about to happen. That's what this big, huge event is going to be. I know everyone's getting, some people out there that are like, bring it on already. They're getting bored with it. They're like, man, just bring it on. Like, look, we don't have a crystal ball, but we are in the window. We've talked about it. All the months in the past, in years, like we talked about the window that we're in. I talked about the specific time frame over and over again. I told you, you just wait till Warsh gets in there. The Mar-a-Lago Accord, all of it. I told you over. Just go back and listen. It's there. It's all on record. Now we're there. Now we're in a window. And we're in the middle of this 250 thing, America 250, which is occult symbolic, which there was no major attacks on any of the stuff. They acted like they thwarted everything, like there was going to be the UFC event, all this other stuff. I don't rule out that anything can happen at any point. I just I don't know what benefits them more at this point. I feel like a huge economic event is where it's at for them. And yeah. Well, before I get into that, let me warn everybody: the East Coast, you're about to get hit again, cooked by a heat dome. Engineered, nonetheless. They're saying August 5th through the 7th. Get ready. So, like by next week, look here. We took it 10 days out. They keep giving these 10-day out forecasts, but I mean, they were on point with the mother of all heat domes. Everything, it's baking everything out west right now, but they're saying, the East Coast should watch out August 5th through the 7th because they're calling this a heat event. It's going to hit. So just be ready. Weather warfare. Now we've got dozens of people that have been sickened and many hospitalized across 17 states linked to recalled eggs. I dropped a video on this, and our food is under attack. Our food supply is under attack, no doubt. Everywhere you look, I talk about recalls like every single show. Just constantly. It seems like some of this stuff is being done on purpose. Let's look at the parasite thing. A perfect example of being done on purpose. You just had the top guy come out and say, oh, we had a false positive on the reading for that parasite on the lettuce. Back to Taco Bell, linked back to Mexico. False positive. False positive, meaning it wasn't positive. That wasn't it. But they just went ahead with the recall anyway. What? That's right. Wasn't even it, but just go ahead and get rid of it all. Waste it all. Even though it's not positive. Like, this is crazy. This is just like them showing up, knocking on the door of farmers, like, yo, your chicken's got bird flu. You got to kill them all. Within so many days, we'll be back. It's a setup. So all this spread at the same time, it seems, in multiple different pockets. They're admitting that. But I just can't get over the fact that you tried to say that it's this. It's specifically this one parasite. And now you're saying it was a false positive. So now the eggs have salmonella on them. You're talking millions, 20 million eggs. Never ending, right? Yeah. So just so you know, you can't trust anything these days. You just can't. Reminds me, I said those exact words at the end of When the Creek Goes Down song. I was just listening to that earlier. It could be upon us. Let's jump to the renewables, the data centers, the fact that people are going through blackouts right now. Like, you have got Americans out there getting put in the dark right now. And it doesn't have to be this way. Largely, it's because, well, if the data center wasn't around, imagine all that power and energy that could be going in the homes right now. All these data centers all over the place. Remove them from the equation here, and you actually have a massive amount of energy, a surplus that could go into everywhere. You wouldn't even be talking about any problems. You would be paying cheaper electric bills, but no, because these animals come in and want to consume so much, it's going to drive the price up on everything because there's only so much of everything. You see what I'm saying? And it's like there's only so much water and timber and all this to go around. And once it's gone, it's gone. And that's a smart move, Deanne. I would get as much as you can from local farmers. But this whole energy thing is not going away. And they're going to use it to keep controlling people. Like I said before, it goes back to Tesla. JP Morgan shutting him down, saying, no, we're going to meter every house so we could charge everybody. And so they could get rich and we could be their slaves. Well, what do you do when you know that? They're going to keep doing it? Like, they're on record saying that. That's why I don't do it. I'm not on their meter anymore. I'm off grid. And that's the way it is. And they can't control in that aspect. Just like everybody getting put in the dark, the blackouts out there right now. This and that. And what's crazy is people with solar panels on their house. That should never happen. But it happens. You'll see it because of the people that got tricked into the government subsidy thing. They wire your house a different way than if you go and you do it normal, so to speak, like I do. They'll wire it to where you're going to have to sit in the dark, basically. You should always have backup batteries, even if you're going to keep them outside in a separate spot. That's your power for when things go bad. And these days with bifacial solar panels and all that, the technology's there, man. There's no excuse. Shanja, thank you for the PayPal. Appreciate it to the fullest. I don't see many of them. Appreciate it to the fullest. Gold. Let's check out the price. They got a big article there on it, but same thing I always tell you though. You should be buying the dip, and it's trying to run it up a little bit here and there. You can see, but it's just not going anywhere. It keeps wanting to retreat and fall back down, and here we are. $58 again on silver. That's what I'm really watching, but gold is the driver. It's only moving this way. Look at the charts. They're almost identical. Platinum, palladium, silver, everything follows gold. So $58 silver is a buy window, man. I'm just really waiting to see this 4,000 floor get tested. And I'm hoping that it drops out. That's what I'm really hoping for right now. Good year to date. Good 1 year. You can see if it drops out, your next slight bit of a footing is going to be 3.6, 3.7 range. And I would like to see that, because what that do is bring silver down to dare I say 40s, lower 50s for sure. Dare I say 40s, and eating it up like hungry hippos, man. These windows, man, there's no hype out there on it right now. It's when you need to be on it. That's why I'm airing it out, constantly saying it on every show, reminding people this is the time. You do not want to FOMO when this is back up at 120 and feel left out and be out there buying anywhere over 100. That's not the way you do it. That's not what you want to do. You buy right now, man. You buy down here in this dip when no one's talking about where it's boring. That's why most people forget about it, but I'm not letting you forget about it. Right? So, thank me later. Cracker Barrel. They dumped their woke CEO. They're saying because of all this stuff. I don't know if it'll ever recover and never be the Cracker Barrel of old. They showed their true colors during lockdowns. Was in Tennessee, Pigeon Forge, and tested it and immediately left. Went across the road, hit Waffle House, and Waffle House respected us and our rights and all that, and like didn't give us no problem. So that's why, like, that was a litmus test right there. And Cracker Barrel, unfortunately, failed it because I, like most people, love the old school Cracker Barrel, good old home cooking. But they changed all that too. When we went there, we couldn't even get a regular piece of white bread. It was so politically twisted and messed up there. I don't even know what to say about it. But and then of course the old shop that they always got there, always got some cool knickknacks. But the hell with them all. You want to infringe on my rights and push the beast policies? Screw you. Boycotting you. Yep. No Cracker Barrel for the foreseeable future. McDonald's. You should be boycotting them too. I'm not even sure what kind of meat these places are selling. Like, their stock plummets. I mean, not a surprise here, but you shouldn't be eating this mystery meat. Any of these fast food joints out there, it's all mystery meat, man. Unless it's like, it's a burger joint known for the good burgers that source their meat from a certain place, grass fed, yada yada. Yeah, so wouldn't be eating there. This one's called the Mickey Mouse Massacre. Disney has a third round of layoffs. It's hitting ESPN, Pixar, all over the place. So it's affecting even there. The economy, jobs getting wiped out, and you can say it's AI, it's this and that. There they go again. We were right over 900 watching, and it's like 50 get cut. Poof. They're going to try to climb back up. All right, so taxpayers couldn't stop a grocery store from going down in what they're calling crime-ridden Chicago, but it's happening more and more, man. This is the story. I'm going to play a clip here so you can see what's happening, and it's really sad, man, because where are people going to get their food? You're going to be traveling further and further out of town to the next town over to get your food.
Well, here we go again. Another store in the neighborhood is just going away. Look at this. This is crazy. They lost every store in the hood, y'all. Every store in the neighborhood is just out of here. Everything's 50% off. This is crazy. What the hell we gotta go shop at now for food? Goodbye, Save a Lot on 107th and Halsted. This is crazy. Guess you're on the list. This is absolutely nice.
I mean, it's dying. I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, it's dying. Look, my country is dying. And they're taking a wrecking ball to it. This is beyond politics, man. Look, Some of us have been here for a while, man. Like, but some are still coming in from the left right paradigm, still trying to wake up and understand it all. Some people just have a hard time believing that this whole thing is really rigged and set up against them, and that an apparatus controls both sides. Same hand, same evil controls Joe Biden and Trump. And some people just have the hardest time accepting that because they were caught up in it for so long. They were brainwashed to hate Biden so bad. And that was part of the magic trick. They wanted you to fall in love with Trump. And to do that, they gave you someone to hate, especially, the man in the mask. And it all helped pull off the trick. But the end game was to get Trump in here so he could do his job. And right out the gate, he was on camera saying it. They brought him in to reset this whole thing. It was destruction. Wrecking ball. And he's all about it, man. This guy cares not about the people. He's so pompous. He's so stuck up. He's so all that. It's sickening, embarrassing, disgusting. Thinks he's untouchable, yet we all know Dirty Don is all over them Epstein files. Every block that's redacted probably ties back to him some way, but you will never know those truths. And I'm on it. Thank you for the coffees, man. Still fighting, still prepping. Respect and much love right back at you. I hope people are out there staying on it right now, because you need not let up. Salutes Lone Warrior, Crown Jewels, Hoodie Ross, Tiffany, Big D, Sonny, Tacos, and salutes to all you guys that are yielding some good crops. I'm seeing it. Some of you guys have shared it with me. That's good. It's great. It's fabulous. I'm so happy that people are successful in that avenue. Although I feel like what we've seen with some of these recalls and with this whole parasite thing, it could end up linking back to home gardens and attacking home gardens, saying, "Oh, this came from a farm, blah blah blah, this and that." You just never know. And a shout out to everybody out there on all platforms here as we round out the top. Come up here. Where we at? Coming up on top of the hour here. Everyone rolling in. Kim in the house. There's Tacos right there. Foothills. Reaper. Steve. Counting the day. Mary. Susan. Jay from the Ville. Salutes to everybody out there. Hope all is good. I thank all of you that share the stream, as always. Got anything you want to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com is the email. I do appreciate all super chats, all coffees, all PayPals, all prayers, all of it. Everyone fighting a good fight. Much love, pure bloods. All right, and Kenzo. Much love. Deanne. Whole crew. Hope all is good tonight. I'm going to take us into a bull ride here that went kind of wrong. I think the bull broke loose, and this is a nightmare situation. Like, no one gets severely gored in this, but he jumps into the crowd and clears the crowd. You don't see this every day, and pretty crazy. No. Nightmare situation there. I'll pass on the bull riding stuff. Um, I don't know. I'm just not trying to see somebody get hurt by a huge beast and sit there and kill them. Um, I don't want to see anyone get hurt, like extreme, especially innocent people, people in the crowd. It's like, man, you better make sure, like, the railing is built up high enough. That should be a lesson there, man. I mean, that bull was kind of like Air Jordan there. He got some air. Um, Still, I mean, that right there shows you these things can jump like 6 foot. Jump a 6 foot rail. I wouldn't be doubting it at this point. There's plenty of footage. And those guys that do the running of the bulls and all that, it's got to be the stupidest thing in the world, man. I see that stuff and it's like, I don't know, man. I know they're in it for a rush, but like, there's other ways, man. But I mean, someone's gonna do it. See it all the time. All right, this is one that I'm not too happy to say is back in the mix. I'm going to tell you that this is not the official or the old set of BLM. We have a new set of BLM, but it's BLM. And BLM was like officially retired here not long ago, like officially, because a bunch of the founders, people tied into it, were going down for fraud, stealing money, and everything we knew that they were doing. Just taking money and not even caring about your community or your people, and just buying mansions and Ferraris and doing all this other crap. Well, Soros Foundation said we're done with it. They were like, we're done. We're not gonna fund it anymore. That right there signaled that they're done. They were going to start putting their money into these other groups that you see, like No Kings, and I mean, it's just a name. They were trying to get away from the stigma of it. He's still putting money into protests all over the place. Same stuff. And I'm going to dare to say, if BLM is back, then he's supporting it without a doubt. The Soroses are. And Soros lives in New York, here in this country. So he can get arrested at any moment. But why is BLM back? BLM is back because we've got a police shooting here involving an individual, a Corey Durrell Ruiz, 38, recently released from prison, was approached by police while riding a bicycle after allegedly attempting to enter or break into random vehicles in Madison, Wisconsin. He was also suspected of a previous bike theft, so they went to stop him. And when they attempted to do so, he ran. He was tackled off the bike, but produced a fixed blade knife and stabbed one of the officers with it. The wounded officer fired 3 shots, killing the suspect. There's video of it, which I'm not going to show because of the gore or whatever, or we would, but it's go to Zero Hedge. Go to this exact article, pull it up right here. The footage is right here, and they wrestle him to the ground. You can hear a female officer saying "taser, taser," and like apparently it didn't work. And at that point, he had stabbed an officer. An officer got stabbed, drew the weapon, and fired 3 shots. And the guy ended up dying. I don't know what you're expecting. I don't know what you're expecting. I've seen them kill people just for fighting back, just for swinging back, fighting back, much less not even have a weapon. Okay? If you've got a knife, you pull out a knife for a weapon. Dude, it's a death wish. It just is. And it's kind of like, it's one of them things, man, like, you just don't do, like, unless, You know what's coming. It's the same thing with these people that go and threaten Trump's life on social media. It's like, you dumbass, like, you know what's coming next. And they get the knock at the door. Next thing you know, because they threaten to kill, whoever. It's the stupidest stuff. Like, some things you can just expect the repercussion. And I think it goes without saying, any weapon drawn on an officer is going to get this kind of response, especially if you've stabbed one. I mean, it's yeah. I shouldn't be here today. Under this whole thesis, I picked through some crazy wild stuff in my day, and cops could have shot and killed me and got away with it. And got away with it because I hit them, because I ran them over. Um, yeah, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? But I was in a crazy position and didn't expect him to jump out in front of me. And always kind of felt like he dove on the hood of my car. But either way, that was when I was way younger and got in some trouble. And I've told the story before. Not proud of it, but it's a fact. I don't hide anything, and I should have died that. I could have died that night then, and then afterwards, the chase afterwards, the whole car got rolled and flipped and everything. Should have died there. But God was watching out for me. He's like, no, you got to go on. You got to do all this other stuff, man. But I think back in my own life, just how many times I look at these instances, and I think how many times, like myself, like cops could just pulled it out and like smoked me, and like I wouldn't be here. That was like before. That was like, that was like 16. Literally, just got the license, man. I went through some stuff like that. Um, I have these reflections though, you know. I've been to a lot of places across this country, and a lot of these shootings, man. I've seen these things over and over, and every situation is different. In some, you feel the sympathy of the people because the cops were too aggressive or in the wrong, or on the other side of the stick, some situations, an individual was just wrong and like shouldn't have done what they done, and they probably wouldn't be dead. Um, there's always an element of chaos though that's paid. That's one thing. I mean, you never really know it or feel it or see it or know that it's even real until you go to a city and you see it. And when I first discovered it in Ferguson, I got up off my ass. I was sick of sitting at home, scrolling, listening to the news, listening to all this other crap. I was hearing rumors of this and that. I said, you know what? I'm going. And that's changed everything for me in terms of getting out and seeing it. Because I saw the orchestration. I seen people getting bussed in and hopping off buses, like dozens, and like all the same age and laughing. They had signs pre-made, and they were all waiting their turn in line to hop in camera. And like I'm sitting there overhearing conversations. I'm like, man, this is all like freaking organized as get. Like, and I'm standing right there in the mix, like, and like if I was at home, I'd have never seen this. But I'm right there in the front line of the action trying to live stream this, and a bus pulls up off to the side. I see all this, and I hear all this. And then I start asking questions. And, well, long story short, we discovered Soros cutting checks, NGOs, paid protesters, and those same goons I tracked through the streets, throwing Molotov cocktails, burning places down, doing everything you could think of. And I followed them. I followed them because they set up on social media and they were going from city to city, all the time, like doing these things. They let it be known. And like, You know, I would show up to like Baltimore, Freddie Gray, like another individual, would be another event, just like this, the one we're looking at on the screen. I'd show up to that town, that city, which was Baltimore at that time, and same thing, same neighborhood pissed off, people, all this energy, people burning stuff down. Went up to Wisconsin, same thing up there. People pissed off, burning gas stations down. Come back down with the Philly, same thing down there. I mean, man, NYC was the same thing. I go on and on and on. It's like a wash, rinse, repeat. Like as soon as one would die down, it seemed like back a few years ago, they were ready to have another one fired up right on the heels of it. It just moved to another city. Even all the way up to right here in my own Louisville. It was one of the last places I'd filmed because, well, when we were there, I had a hotel and they were burning the building down next to my hotel. It had my family in it, and I'm out in the streets trying to live stream and show everybody the chaos on 4th Street Live. People were literally robbing places on my live stream, like right there, like torching the place, just stealing everything you think of, like pure chaos. And like 50 feet from me was a wall of cops just sitting there watching, just watching. That I seen a lot of this setup, stage stuff. They should have been in there stopping them. They could have easy, but they didn't. Like they were given orders to stand there. And what was crazy is I had to go up, get my family, and we go down to the parking garage to leave, to peel out of there. And we're like the only car in this massive parking garage downtown Louisville, which was eerie. And we look over to the side, and like there's these concrete like cutouts to go to the outside, open air, and there's just this massive wall of cops staring at us. Just staring at us. Like, it was creepy, man. And I was like, man, I had to get out of there. This felt like they were going to pounce. The law, like those dudes in black, like, they were going to do more damage to me than anyone or anything and get away with it. People on the streets, really, they didn't do me no harm, but they were wilding out, and they were robbing everything. They torched the place. They burnt places down. As far as I could tell, somebody let it happen. They were robbing a liquor store right down the road, and like, as I'm running back to the hotel, passing this wall of cops, like you could see the people running with liquor bottles, and you knew there were people yelling like, "Oh, they're robbing a liquor store!" And like there's cops standing right there again, like right there. Did one of them run to the liquor store? Nope. They just let them loot the whole thing and take off. And I'm like, dude, like, why are you here? Dressed in this crazy all black Reich gear, walking around. Reminded me of the dudes off like Wizard of Oz. Marching like that. That's how they were like marching through the streets. And this world is not what you think it is, man. A lot of the stuff is theatrics. Here's another weird one. Let's go to Savannah Guthrie. She pays a compliment to the alleged kidnapper that is allegedly took her mom, which they told us before that she was dead, but I guess not now. This is still ongoing. It seems more theatrical than anything. It has this whole time. I can't put my finger on it, but it seems like more of a distraction story than anything because I don't know. Parts of it are so unbelievable to me.
The world can be a cruel and unforgiving place, and I know that you have tried to do things the right way. So I'm asking you, begging you, to do the right thing now. Make the right choice. Help us find her. Tell us where to look for her. I truly believe it is never too late to do the right thing. Help us bring this situation to an end. For all of us, no matter where we've been and what we've done, I believe There is always a way home.
I don't know. Every bit of it. Every single little stupid clip like this that she puts out, everything the whole time is felt off. Everything's felt off. That's all I could say about it. That's just all I could say about it. So the FBI's most wanted has been caught here. And this wanted suspect was wanted for COVID fraud. The fugitive busted in Jamaica while using fake identity. But when you steal 32 million, and I guess you're kind of easily trackable and you're out in the open, flaunting everything, you're going to get caught. Even if it's in Jamaica, she tries to flee the country to blend in. But no, when she's running around flaunting, it's the flaunting that's the dead giveaway. And yeah, it's the dead giveaway. When someone rolls up in their Mercedes Benz, rolling up and buying a mansion, they're all covered in diamonds and all that, yeah. Like, and then people start talking. Some people just don't know how to lay low. Yeah. And some people out here committing crimes that should never happen in this country. But we've got so many illegals here that just don't care for life. It's what I've seen literally. They don't seem to care about life at all. Whether it's truck drivers just doing a U-turn in the middle of the highway, or someone like this guy. He backs up over a beloved grandmother in a Florida grocery store parking lot and hits her, and then continues to just keep on running over like in a sickening display of murder for absolutely no reason. So Deborah Murphy, 82-year-old grandmother, R.I.P. This Venezuelan illegal Carlos Suarez Contreras is the one that did it. This piece of work. I hope karma catches him. Just like I hope karma catches this piece of work. The Idaho quadruple murderer, Brian Koberger. He is actually seeking to withdraw his guilty plea because someone's trying to say they've gotten convinced that some of this new evidence can help overturn it. And it's all disgusting. Look, all I'm going to say is, may the Most High in heaven serve justice quick on the situation. And I don't, he did it. Everyone knows it. He slaughtered a whole group of young individuals. Almost every single one of these people that you see in this picture. The middle four. All dead and gone because the guy showed up like freak with a knife and stabbed every one of them horrifically. Killed all of them. Let them all suffer horrifically. For absolutely no reason. When it comes down to it, because I've dug into this deep and I'm trying to find the motive behind, Kloberger, and is he just a sicko in that case? What's really going on here? Why did he target them? Well, there were interactions. Okay. And I believe that somewhere along the lines, one of these two girls rejected him in a form or a way that pissed him off bad enough to kill them all. And said something, did something. That's what it seems to lead back to them. And the others were just kind of bystanders, buddies, hanging out and in the house at the time, and unfortunately got murdered as well. I mean, it's It's crazy how someone could slide in and start stabbing someone and like no one even hears the screams or anything like that, and then go move on to another person, and know the house so well, like where everybody's at, and then off to the next person and the next person, without, I don't know. It was definitely well coordinated and planned, and he did it. So there's no, there's nothing out there. I mean, if they let this dude walk free, I hope Carmen catches him walking across the street. That's all I can say. Um, justice has got to prevail in this. We'll see where it goes. Um, this guy is a sick, dark individual that you don't need on the streets. Just like this individual, David or David, or whatever they call this. I guess he was a music artist. He tried to portray himself as, like, I don't know. Never heard none of his stuff. All I picked him up on was this story where he was involved with a dead body here, a young girl found in a rental that he dropped off our car. Her body found in the trunk of it. And now, after all this time, it's come to light that basically, like, she was a 14-year-old that should have never been around him in the first place. Celeste Hernandez. She was dismembered, and the whole reason is because he impregnated her and caused her to have like an abortion, and then killed her and tried to dismember her. Yeah. So this piece of, R.I.P. girl, but this is why, man, you don't go in areas alone. You just don't go. I don't know, man. This is something. Dark energies out there, man. Like, you gotta. Dark energies. I don't know. When someone's famous though, and someone thinks, "Oh my gosh, I got a famous person talking to me and like loves me," or anything like that, it's a sad story. It's the fact that she didn't deserve to lose her life. Let's just put it that way. This piece of work. I hope again karma gets him. Just like this guy who was running around stabbing people in France, stabbed 3 different women for no reason, running around saying that Allah made him do it. Just nutcases all over the place, man. You see here. See, this guy's running around, got an open knife. He said people are looking at him like, what the? I skipped forward, but he's looking back. He just did something.
Ouais, c'est pas ce qu'il fait. C'est Alec qui m'a redonné. Il n'y a pas d'Allah, gros.
Voilà, faut le plus tirer. C'est Alec qui m'a redonné.
God,
Il n'y a pas, non, il est malade.
he's lucky he's not getting his face.
Malade, ça veut rien dire.
Là, t'es plan des gens.
Il a piqué la fille ici.
C'est bon, c'est bon, c'est bon.
From that sense, I'm telling you, like, another nutcase, the son of Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. This Elijah Bieniemy, 27-year-old out of Kansas, were the son of Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. He's arrested because he charged after his mom and shot his mom, Mia Bieniemy, inside their Ashburn, Virginia home. Okay, so yeah, they got him. She was transported with serious injuries. She was shot in the chest and arm. She called 911. She remains in stable condition as of right now. So just in that case, man, sometimes you get to see some characters out there, man. That's why you better be packing. Here's another one, a horrific incident here where, I mean, if you're out in a public street anytime and someone just starts opening fire, it's wild. It's happened to me many times. Whatever reason or another, all kinds of different situations, but this is similar to like one of them type of situations. But in this instance, this guy pulls out and just starts shooting down the street at like enemies, but he gets taken out pretty quick by cops in Tucson. But you can see him pop up on the screen down here where the arrow is at. I'm gonna play the clip here so you can see this whole thing unravel. I mean, just like that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cops. They're taking off after, I guess whoever he was shooting at. I don't know if they fired back, but they got. I mean, that was just quick though. Which is, that's what you want to see though. If you want police protecting people. I mean, the girl that ran and ducked down next to the car, and the guy that was shooting the shots ran right past her. I mean, it was somebody. If it was this looked to be a back and forth situation between some people, but if it was like a killer out there just killing random people, that wouldn't have been good. This is why it pays to always be packing. Off to Seattle, a festival has a bloodbath, left 3 dead. They're saying this was a shootout between 2 people in the end, or groups of people, like gang-related young individuals. Back this up.
Shooting? Oh, right here.
At 6:01 p.m., gunshots were heard. Now we have a total of 3 fatalities out of those 7. At 6:01 p.m., gunshots were heard. Now we have a total of 3 fatalities out of those 7 victims. We believe that there were 2 people shooting at each other. One of the 4 victims that was taken to the hospital was a toddler.
It was a toddler. Okay, within the update, you could see them taking that one character, this one right here, off in cuffs. This almost looks AI, to be honest with you. This clip right here. Oh yeah, that's AI. They think they're slick. When you got an eye for it, you've got an eye for it. Like that's 100% AI right there. Plus that black officer that's carrying him's got patches on his left arm right there. There's no patches on this officer's arm. Like, just I could just tell. I don't know how to say it, but it flows a certain way. Like, this is a real shot that I was just showing you. Them walking him off right here, and someone took that. See, now that was the real shot. Someone took that, and you couldn't see it. Someone took that, and yeah. You also notice that on the AI stuff, it seems to have a sheen. I always call it an oil sheen that seems to show up on it. The AI shine that's put on it. Now we have a Miami rapper accused of witchcraft after cops find a goat inside of his home that he was going to sacrifice. They busted him for doing some other criminal crap, but his name is Dracula. And right here, yeah. Apparently, this guy is doing the witchcraft stuff, and it reminds me of stories I've reported on in the past, where we've seen different characters do this. There was Azalea Banks, actor or whatever, singer, whatever she is. She was posting on social media that she had a Bula cabinet, and basically she opened it up. It was just this pantry, basically a pantry that she would kill things in, chickens and all this other, like, sacrifice for her spells and all this other stuff. Because she's a witch, and she shows the whole world. And like, people are ignorant to just keep following these people that are showing you that they're openly doing witchcraft, like right in front of your face. If you become their enemy, they'll be trying to do it on you. Sometimes you can just see it in the people. You can see that, does that look like a very kind, loving person to you right there? Looking at you like that? Let's go to Spanish riot police clashing with protesters, and they're doing this again. Remember, the whole place is burning down. But like, there's some people coming out. People are showing up in mass. It was mostly peaceful until, like most places, till it gets dark, and then it gets chaotic. And you can see the people here clashing. I mean, that was some pretty dramatic frontline footage right there. It's they're getting into it. They're getting pretty heated. When they start firing rubber bullets. I mean, you've seen the back and forth. It was physical, and it gets like that a lot of times in these really emotionally charged atmospheres. All right, let me get this next one. The Somali pirates, they're back. How they're back and they get away with this, I don't understand. We're supposed to be out there policing, the waters, making sure they're safe, right? But doing it in an unrighteous way, if you ask me, America is, and think you're least trustworthy. Because they're blowing up these boats and like all the drug dealers, but like all we're asking for is proof. Like, show us who you just killed. I think that's only the righteous thing to do. We should have evidence, proof that there was drugs on board, proof of all of it, not just judge, jury, executioner, right there. What if it was a fishing vessel or this and that? What if they did screw up one time and kill innocent people? How would you ever know? People have got to hold them accountable for these things. But when you've got Somali pirates back and like they hijack a cargo tanker, and they're using it for a mothership, and they're attacking other vessels off the Horn of Africa. Like, okay, big bad military. Like, why didn't you go down and check these cats? But they don't. They allow them to keep doing what they're doing. The world's a stage, man. The world's a stage. So these guys all posing, taking pictures, smiling with the weapons. They're all fed. Get out of here, man. Um, I don't know, man. There's always something going on. I wouldn't be trying to take a boat out in the deep waters anywhere out there because there's pirates literally all over everywhere. The Caribbean, for real. All the islands out there, you can't go anywhere. Like right around Cuba, from southern Florida up into Cuba, where they've been bombing, like striking boats. I just stay away from all that crap. Like you follow the islands all the way down and around. It doesn't matter. I was looking at crime on almost all those islands. Just mind blowing. Trying to look at the safe havens. I looked at them ranked from worst to best, and like, man, like almost every single one of them islands, man, is you can't go to. Like anywhere. You can't go anywhere because the same major threat, I'm gonna tell you. And it is hustlers running up on people and pushing a product on you that you do not want and forcing it on you and then expecting you to give them money for it. That is as brazen as it gets. And like, man, like, I swear, it just tastes me bad. Like, I know cats that be, I don't know. I can't understand how they get away with this in some instances, but they do. Every city, every country is different. Again, somebody approaches you at any of these places, walk the other way and just ignore them as kindly and move as quickly as possible. In lightweight, in some situations, you're going to have to run, which is crazy. You shouldn't even have to. You're going to go for an evening walk under the Eiffel Tower, Paris, France. And guess what? You ain't going to like it. You ain't going to love it. You may not come back. Guaranteed, just approaching the place, just to get through the whole area, you're going to get swarmed a dozen times by a dozen different dudes, bare minimum, trying to push on you trinkets, stolen items, whatever it may be. A necklace, a bracelet, whatever stupid thing it may be. So they can say, oh, they give me money. They give me money. And they get pissed at you if you don't give money. And then things get violent. And they all turn to act this way while the dumbass police sit there and watch it. And if you dare defend yourself and try to fight back, guess what? The police will run up just like they do in the UK and they arrest you. I'm sick of it. Salutes to anyone that rises up against the beast. And shame on all these busters that took an oath to protect their people, like the policemen in the UK and other places that sit there watching this happen and arrest their own kind because their boss says so, versus the bad guys, the real bad guys. Because we've got video after video at this point of the two-tier system where groups of migrants will run up on a lone individual and attack them. And when that one individual dares swing back and defend themselves, the cop is right there to jump on the person getting jumped on. It's a setup. It's some of the sickest stuff I've ever seen. And those cops that are participating in that should be ashamed of themselves. They should all be charged with treason. Like somewhere, some country needs to do this as an example. And set the example. So here is an event where I thought that we'll play this clip. This is the lady that's blocking federal officers. And it gets really heated when we see these things can turn on a dime and go, whatever way. But like, you got to be careful in some of these situations, man. They tell you to back up or to go one way and you think you're in gear and you're not, and you accidentally go forward. That's already happened. They start shooting, they unload, they kill the driver, they'll unload. These things can twist in a minute. And I just think that this is one of them situations where, like, this lady was like, it was really close for something popping off here.
Passengers, be ready to document anything.
The Ford Explorer is nose to nose with us. They are eating grapes and honking their horn and waving at us.
That's nice feedback.
Can't move.
Document anything.
They are getting out of the car and coming up to us.
Okay. That's West Court.
I'm recording. Hi, can I help you?
Title 18 USC 111. If you don't move your car, you will be apprehended.
I'm blocked in. Do you see
Move
that?
your car
whatsoever.
I will back out.
I'm absolutely blocked
I
in.
will back out.
You can back up.
Are you guys gonna guide me out of here?
No, I'm going to back
Oh,
up my
so-
car. If you don't move, that's your chance. You got it?
My chance for what?
18 USC 111.
Which is what?
What I just told you.
I know, you
Impeding
just
a
told-
law enforcement officer.
How am I impeding you?
You're
You
impeding
pulled
me
up in
from
front of
moving
me.
my traffic. We are doing an operation.
You pulled
now
up in
move
front of
your
me.
car or it's over.
We cannot move right
Can't
now.
move my car.
Back up.
Can't.
Back up.
You can back up. You can turn
Back
left.
up or
There's
you're under
15
arrest.
parking spots
We're not
right here.
playing anymore.
Well, you can't arrest me.
Oh, yes, I can.
No, you
18
can't.
USC 111.
You can't.
Try me. Try me.
Okay.
Try me.
Don't worry, baby. I will.
She ends up backing up, but it's I don't know. My encounters with police officers have not been good ones. Just personally, I've never done nothing to them. I've been city to city. They treat people like crap. Whether local officers or federal officers, I've only had a couple. Just I mean, literally one or two good encounters with officers or agents, so to speak, in the field in all this chaos. And the one that stands out is the one in DC, where I got barked at for setting my tripod down with my camera up there to fix my stuff, just completely innocent on a sidewalk. And these dudes jump out the bushes like Rambo on me with fully automatics, screaming at me to get my tripod off the ground. I'm like, what the? And I took it off the ground. I'm like, okay, man, like, and I just looked at the guy like, dude, like, why you got to be a prick? Like, I didn't know. Like, and then all of a sudden, this other guy come walking up out of nowhere as the prick walked away. He's like, look, man, he was down to earth, cool, this and that. He's like, I know you didn't mean no harm. Because his policy up here, man. Just remember, they don't want no tripods. It's a security thing. It's different animal. He explained things cooler, calmer, and how it should have been done. You know, level head, not coming out gun right on me. And I can't tell you how many times they've done that. In Ferguson, same thing. Cops come in, threw a shotgun right in my face. Just slip of the trigger, I'm done. And what's crazy is in all these places, my interaction with National Guard has been way different. National Guard, almost every single time, has been like a hero. They have helped the people. They have helped me, literally, every single time. They've been sent there, you know, for whatever reasons, because the city's in chaos, whether it was Ferguson, you know, Baltimore, Cleveland, wherever the chaos was at the time. They send in National Guard troops. And I'll never forget, they surrounded us in Ferguson one time. And seeing we were all media. And they were like, hold on, we're not doing this. And they literally said that and backed out and pulled away. And that's when the cops jumped in, pounced on us and like knocked me off the bridge. It was crazy. Threw the shotgun in my face. I was live at the time on Ustream and knocked me off the bridge. And I'll never forget some of them National Guard guys seen it, looking back over the bridge, seen me go off, and we're looking down over, like concerned, like, oh my God, like, and then I pop back up, and one was like, there he is, and like they had to start laughing, like I made it out of it, and they went about their business. And I've got several stories about how National Guard has helped me, but It's never these guys. It's never the feds. The feds always got a cocky attitude. They're always the ones peeking at you from the rooftop through the binoculars, or just being pricks, man. In my experience. So what we're seeing are no-go zones popping up all over the place. Some cities have them here in the United States, whether you realize it or not. Some places are way worse than others, and around the world, these have sprouted up. In particular, like if you look at Ireland, for instance, just one example. Say there was a neighborhood somebody grew up in there from a child in Ireland, and now it's so full of illegal migrants that neighborhood is overran, and you can't even enter it to go back into the neighborhood you grew up in. It's a no-go zone. Because if you go in there, it's guaranteed violence. Something's going to happen. Now, I'll tell you that certain hoods, certain cities across this country, they're set up the same way. Like there's areas that you're not going to enter, and I know this because I've been to them and in them. It gets real when you hear the term like checking in. Like you got to go to a city and check in with somebody, and you're thinking like, I ain't checking with nobody. Like I'm just going here, I'm doing this and that. True, if you're going to certain places, but if you're going into the hood, into their territory, that you be checking in. All right, or you're going to be getting broken in, and shown how it goes. It's just a thing out there, and you learn it. You either learn it quick or you don't. But it's a respect thing anywhere and everywhere you go. Like every city's different, man. Like for instance, in Milwaukee, there's a no-go zone when I was up there, and the cops would not even enter a certain block radius of like a few blocks in Milwaukee. And it was just like a whole different world when you're in there. Like the police, and no one's going to save you in there. No one's going to, like, the police are not entering in there. You'll see them at the ends of the block, at the ends of the blocks, you'll see them driving by. They'll like do circles around this whole huge thing on the perimeter, but they'll never come into it. And they'll sit there doing anything and everything they want all day, all night long. And that's how it is. Okay. Frank Nitti took me up in there, and they treated me like a king in there. Kind of like he's kind of like the Michael Jordan in Milwaukee up there. It's the best way to put it. He's really famous, and no, but that was just one example. I had cats like that in many different cities. Baltimore was another one, where cats took me under the wing and would show me, would just take me to the hardest of places you would never see any other way, and where it's their own law and rules. You know what I'm saying? Again, there's no cops to come and help or save you, anything like that. You're not even getting an ambulance in unless they call it or they want it in. They don't get nothing in. And that's a no-go zone. But in these other countries, it's a little different. Because they're so just mean about it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, hoods are not soft by no means. You know that. But like when you're talking like different religious mindsets, where, for instance, to just chop your head off, like right there. Just for being wrong color, wrong this, wearing the wrong whatever, this, that, not bowing down to whatever they say or do. Like these are no-go zones for a reason, man. And what the cops don't even go into them. You're seeing these more and more. I remember a long time ago, the one in New York City, NYC. We were on the edge of one, Um, and we went down the wrong alleys. And we were right on the edge of like where the police won't go to where the police will go. And like we had no clue. And we were just sitting there parked. And some crazy madness started popping off. It's in New York City years ago. And I'll never forget that like all these vehicles they kept going into this one area. And the cops were like stopping like right down in front of us, like at the block in front of us. And like could not understand for the life of me, like why, like what the, like why are they all stopping? Like what's going on? Like, why did these dudes just race by? The cops just stopped down there. There's like nobody here stopping them. But then we turned around and we looked. And you looked down the block. The block was so jam-packed with vehicles back to back to back to back. And it was one way. To where it was like a tight funnel. And like you could just look down in it and you could see that like it looked trappy. Like if you entered that and you were a cop, like you could get lit up from every angle, every single side, every single way. And like it was fortified in that way. And they knew it. And they took advantage of that, of the blocks, of the roads, and how it converged like that in that area for that reason. And that was the beginning right there of the no-go zone right up there in New York City in that area. Again, I saw it firsthand, an area where the cops would stop dead in their tracks and they will not enter. So, you know, the police are corrupt. The police force, Masonic police force is corrupt. Not every cop is bad. There are good cops. There's very few, it seems. It's in my experience in this life, I was a wild, crazy kid. I got chased by cops a lot. Pretty much for fun, but nothing else better to do in my day, I guess. But be out after dark and get chased for nothing, pretty much. Nothing, but I don't know. There were some cool cops on our force that have respect because they kind of respected us. They never really messed with us too much. They seen the guys out in the woods, weekend, night, out there, campfire and this and that. They kind of peek at it. As long as it wasn't out of hand, they keep on pushing. They'd be kind of cool like that. Local cops that knew you grew up and this and that, chased you one too many times. But that's different, I guess, because as soon as you get outside of some cops that kind of know you on a town basis, any friendliness that I ever saw for a cop was gone. Any cop like I saw anywhere in any other city was like mean, like seriously, like for the most part, 90+%. It's just my experience, man. All these cities, man, cops, pricks everywhere. Now let's go to Biden and what I call the Biden blackmail bombshell. This is, well, I'm gonna let Catherine Herridge here talk on this in this clip here real quick. This is going on the record saying what they got on Biden and company. And it's like, all right, if you guys got stuff that shows that he did all this stuff, like former president or not, can he be arrested?
What we saw in the release of the records, which I'm afraid, I think in the media or legacy media, there was kind of a willful blindness. They didn't want to look at the records. All you had to do was spend a couple of hours. I found these records, which are talking about blackmail by China. It was for President Biden's daily brief. I can conclude, I think, that it was probably about targeting his family. When that kind of information is not reaching a decision maker, ultimately the United States and the American people are the losers.
Right.
And I think that's what people need to be focused on.
Well, it's dangerous as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not getting into it.
So this is wild. So in these documents she's holding right here, we're being told is information and evidence that the Biden family is being blackmailed by China. This is something that we all thought was happening, but now there seems to be proof. Now we're not being told what the proof is, but she's saying that it is there, and I'm sure it will be released. So We can speculate a little bit. I found a clip that I shared a while back, and I think that we'll just revisit it right now. Here it is. And this is on CNN, and what they're saying right here is that the Biden family admitted in court that they were being paid off by Chinese companies. So I think it's worth listening to this.
That's crazy.
Listened to in that previous video.
And Kristen, Glenn Kessler from the Washington Post had a fact check about Joe Biden from earlier this month, noting that Hunter Biden admitted in court in July that he was in fact paid substantial sums from Chinese companies. Kessler wrote, Hunter Biden reported nearly $2.4 million in income in 2017 and $2.2 million in income in 2018, most of which came from Chinese or Ukrainian interests.
I mean, that's treasonous blackmail.
Right there. Let me just
right there. That's all treasonous blackmail to the fullest. Like, if they've got him, charge him. I'm sick of this stuff. Like, you seen them just get away with murder, huh? They can do whatever they want. Like, I don't think so, man. Like, this crap's got to end. But let's be real. This stuff happens all the time. They get away with it. Don't flock me. Massey readies a bill to yank federal cash from any city in all police departments that want to run flock cameras and like bring it on. Yeah, drop these bombs. He said he was going to unload because they primaried him. He's going to do everything he could before he was out of here to drop meaningful, bombshells. And then, before he exits all the way, a huge list of names will be dropped that has never been heard. And I have a funny feeling you're going to see him in the mix for some independent stuff. But he's putting this bill out, and I think that it should do well. Like, people got to start paying attention to the guys voting on these bills. And if someone votes for it, they need to be held responsible, asked why, shouted down, called out. Why did you just vote to have this place become a police state? They need to be held responsible. There's not enough of it. There's no pressure. There's no heat. So they do things like sell you out every day. Like, this is against our rights big time. This whole flock thing. And of course, you take Flock away, you've got Axum stepping up, and then Leonardo. You've got all these different projects and businesses stepping up, but to hell with all of it. It's all illegal. It's all an invasion of our privacy. You are not to be tracked and traced everywhere that you go like that. There's no way. The Supreme Court needs to take this up big time. It's being abused so bad. Like, every day I see stories lined up where a different officer has been busted. Today it was a different one. A female officer busted because she was abusing the system for tracking her boyfriend. And this and that. It's like, what is going on? All of it's open to where anyone can get all this access. You can go and get all the hack you can hack into, because we've seen it. They've hacked into the database and see any camera, all the information, all the data. This is beyond a violation of everything here. So I salute everyone that steps up and goes to a meeting, a protest, anything against a data center and flock cameras. It's all the enemy at this point. It's the truth. Anything that's trying to come in and ruin your neighborhood, ruin your way of life, snatch up all your resources, these people with data centers going up can't even go out and grill out a burger in the backyard or sit there in the evening or anything, because there's a loud hum that's will drive you insane, constantly going on, that's never ending. Like, people shouldn't have to deal with these things. We'll skip this. If you don't know, Mitch McConnell dropped one more new image trying to say he's alive. Other people are like, man, give me a break. Like, not a recording, not a video, nothing. Still 44, 45 days. Now, remember I said they had to wait till like August. They're waiting till this whole thing goes down that's coming up. Because if he was to be dead the Democrats can install a Democrat into his position. And it's wild. Look what they did with Lindsey Graham. Never would you've ever thought that, all right, this dude that sold us out for Israel, he dies, and like they're just gonna give it to his sister that you've never heard of, has never been on the scene. Nobody knows anything. What? How does it just go to his sister? Because this is a mafia. You live in a place that's controlled by a mafia. Yep. That's what it is. So I'm gonna finish here on the war stuff. And this is Trump says he's ready for a strong military response if talks fail with Iran. And I'm going to tell you that there are no talks. I'm going to tell you the man is full of crap. And you don't have to look any further. And no, that's not TDS. It's the truth. Get used to it. He's lying with these statements consistently because the official spokesmen for Iran are coming out and saying, no, that's not the case. Trump's trying to say, oh, they're begging for talks and this and that. And they're like, no, we're not. We're not begging for anything. Trump's like, oh, yeah, they're doing all these, or talks are going good, and he expects something here by tomorrow. Dude, he's been saying this for months now. It's all a lie. So Iran heard that again, and they said that is a lie. They said that's fake news, and now they're dropping their Lego videos again, smoking him, burning him up with these little Lego videos, calling him out, and these little raps or whatever, doing a pretty good job of it. And to make him look stupid. All Trump can do is go over and pull up these AI images of like him and JFK and like blowing up Iran with air power. And like people are like, it's pathetic. It's like, it's childish. It's so embarrassing. He is so embarrassing knowing where we're at right now. This whole situation is despicable. Where we're at, we're so sold out. They got us right where they want us. They got us there. That this was the whole plan the whole time. Not just to play the Trump card, but the second Trump administration, which was going to be down the road, which was going to be right here. This is where the gloves come off. This is where you do everything you wanted to do. Every dark, bad thing. Doesn't matter because you're not running again. Or are you? This goon just come out and put a hat on in front of everybody and says Trump 2028. And like they're trying to act like it's serious. Because they're saying they got the goods, showing that they got robbed of the second election of which they won. And since he won it, he should be entitled to serve it. Are you kidding me? No. Everyone thought at first, oh, he's kidding. He's joking. No, he's not. Like, dude, like this guy, like be prepared for anything. He's like, the hell with it. What? If he can find any way, inkling of a way to do it, and he's still kicking, breathing, and able to do it, even though he's on record saying he would not want to do it. I don't know why he would want to do it, to be honest with you, but I think he's full of himself, the ego. Like, when this is over, the party's over for him. He's no longer the man. You see? I don't know if he can deal with that. Do you? Like, he kind of... The way he walked out of here the first term is way different. Remember, how did he walk out of here? He was what? Who was he? What was going on? What happened? What happened right at the end of his first term? Lockdowns. He was Mr. and is Mr. Warp Speed. And don't you ever forget it. That's a prime example of the things that happen at the end of can creep up right at the end and throw it on you. And like, we ain't seen the worst yet. In terms of events. I'm a firm believer that on his watch, we're going to see a financial event. And it's tied into a global reset, which he says he's here to do. And they're doing it. And Iran is doing it. And it's doing it. The whole world's a stage, man. They're making everyone kind of feel this and suffer. And we have a shift for the first time in like, I'm not gonna say it can't be the. Is it the first? Let's just say it's the first. We got to start somewhere. You could say Russia striking a Ukrainian ship in the Caspian Sea, or vice versa. There was opening up a war front to like worldwide. But dude, this is world war. We are in world war with that. No shadow of a doubt. We're in world war. It starts with the fact that just by the definition of it, just look up a definition. We've done it many times and shown it and gone over it. We're in it. We're in it. Okay, you have multiple countries sending troops to multiple front lines in different war fronts, dying. And I told you just in Ukraine, you've had North Korean, Chinese troops, Russian troops, all coming in from one side and getting killed. And then they're kidnapping people in Ukraine and taking whoever they can get off the other side, right? But Zelensky does a game changer. He ups and strikes Iran, strikes their vessels. And it's like, haha, gotcha. And boasts about it. And Iran's like, oh. These news articles are looking at it like, oh, is this a merger of war fronts? It's like, dude, get out of here. This is world war, you idiots. Like, it's all over the place. He just officially merged the Ukraine war front, which is the largest that we had going on the planet outside of whatever Israel was doing. And Israel got us into this mess with Iran. So Zelensky just steps up like trying to show off for Israel. I mean, that's really what it looks like. And him boasting. Like, hey, BB, look at me. We just got him for you. And dude, look at the sides, man. I've laid this all out. All the sides. Just, it's easy to see. There's a couple wild cards in this whole thing. If it was to pop off right now, like right now, nukes flying. India is a wild card because they're at it with their neighbors so much, but want to back off officially being our ally, over Russia. They don't want to make it look like that, I don't think. But you make a choice in that department when you start buying weapons from a certain person. They were buying some from Russia, but then it's from America. And when you go all in buying all your military equipment from America, that shows right there. Well, in the end, that's who you're siding with. Here's another one. And I think maybe the bigger one. And I really think is the linchpin to all of it. I think Turkey is more critical than anyone has ever said or given credit to. I think Turkey is what sets it off. Turkey, even by Trump's own admission, is a juggernaut in the region. There are no little Lebanon or even Syria, Jordan, anything. They are. Even Trump said it. He's like, they're like a big bully. They're like the big guy on the block. They're like, they're not going to take this. And Erdogan cannot stand the wanted Benjamin Netanyahu, who is wanted for an international criminal arrest warrant. Can you believe that? And our president is running with him. It's like, open mafia, gangsters. The whole world sees BB's over their genocide and everything. He's wanted. And like he's sitting there trying to talk the US into doing away with the whole ICC. It's like you've got an organization that's actually got a warrant out for this man's arrest. And they're trying to dismantle it. Of course. There's no one that I've ever seen in this life that has been responsible for so much killing than BB ever. There's no one. I call him the soul collector. There's no one. There's no other leader in my lifetime on so many different war fronts, openly, just constantly, all the time, even right now. Mostly. I don't even want to say it because it hurts. Innocence, man. They do not like us. We are the Goyim. You better never forget that. You know, the problem here is I remember 9/11. And we got a whole generation of people right underneath me, you know, that are like in the 30s and everything else, that like all of them and younger, they don't remember those events like I do, and many of you do. They don't. It's not in the memory bank. And I'm telling you, it's like we're primed for a fresh one for this new generation. It's the scary part about it. All this world war, I don't see how we don't get hit back in return. What are you gonna do at this point? Look, I just told you we're in World War. A lot of people are like, oh, there needs to be nukes. Well, nukes are usually the last thing, and then like you're dead. You don't want that. And if that's what the people are brainwashed into thinking, they got it twisted, and like they got some horrific things coming their way. Because a lot of things can happen outside of nukes. They could flip the world upside down. But I'll finish with saying North Korea executed a colonel, and they're putting out threats that they're ready to go to war. So all this rhetoric is picked back up, and we see this every now and then. It kicks up, and I always wonder, why is this guy allowed to sit over here, Rocket Man, popping off at the mouth with nukes? But you're doing all this with Iran. Well, Iran is in closer proximity to Israel in the Middle East. I feel like North Korea has always been reserved for the final show, for real. And a lot of people are going to die. In a nasty, heavy exchange. And I'll just be honest, if we ever get EMP'd, it's more than likely going to be North Korea. They could easily be blamed for it. And they've got a satellite or satellites up there. They've put up many. Some have gone up and come down. Others have gone up and they're still up there. That are suspect. It all started with the Shining Star. The very first one that they put up, KMS-1 or whatever, they said it was playing music. And this was under Obama, way back when. And we had a whole unit that came together under the government that was paid for, an EMP commission that evaluated the whole situation. They said, no, we think that's an EMP. They said it. And then they took away their funding and shut them down. And I reported on it. And I've got to remind everybody, because that's what happened. It's a huge setup. Like, they warned us. They told us it was official, on record, and they shut them down. Okay, so if it ever happens and people look back through history, they're going to see that the warning was already there. And that these guys were already circling the planet with an EMP for a long time. And our government knew it was there. They knew it was there the whole time. There was never no midnight plan to go take it down or make sure they detonate it out over the ocean or anything like that. Nope. They let it stay in rotation. Why? Because this whole thing is a setup. That is why. You've got to stop and put your thinking cap on for a minute. Known EMP threat to this country and to any other one, because it doesn't stop at a border. It doesn't stop at Canada. It doesn't stop at Mexico. Okay? It could take out all of North America, positioned right. And guess what? Where they're flying, that satellite was right at the perfect height for EMP detonation. Now, the other wild thing about this is when most of these satellites go up, they go in rotation, all in like the same kind of way. This one went opposite, into the opposite direction, against the grain. And again, they launched several of these things and continue to do this. I mean, Rocket Man, they're launching stuff all the time. And it's a setup. Again, our country has already said that they could easily EMP us, and no one has ever cared to do anything about it. What does that tell you? That is a setup. It's a bold setup. Now, stop and look. Like, why is he even sitting here? They smoke everybody. They've gone to everybody. They went in, they took out Saddam Hussein, WMDs that never existed. They went in, they took out Gaddafi, right? They've gone in, they've done all this stuff. Not even Assad is in Syria anymore. All of this crazy stuff. And they've assassinated Khomeini, all of it. But you're telling me you have not cared one bit about this nutcase over here that has nukes and it's popped off missiles, I can't tell you how many times, and threats? Why? Something that doesn't make sense there. Why have you not gone and took him out like yesterday and just did it? So brazen, so don't care about going to war with anyone else anywhere else. So I don't know, man. Just remember, this place ever gets EMP'd, the lights are out, you'll see a big shining stars what it look like in the sky. Whole country will. And because every light's out and it's the only light on, it will stand out like you would never believe. And then everyone would know why they call it the shining star. It's always made perfect sense, and it's always been right there. And if I can see it, they can clearly see it. And they're doing nothing about it. Matter of fact, they suspiciously shut down the commission. And you don't care that he's still over here doing it. It seems like he's reserved for the final show. You don't you ever forget it. Because we're just about there. Yeah, man. And someone just came through and got the coffees for me, man. Much love and thank you. Appreciate it more than you know. All right. Well, you wish you were born in the 1920s, huh, EC? Yeah, it's crazy to think, man. 100 years ago, right? Time flies. Yeah, so I guess that brings us to a close here tonight, man. I do thank you guys for joining me here once again. And just looking at the chat here before we run the music. Again, thank you to everybody out there. Deanne, Steve, everybody so much for everything. Kev Bar, Kenzo, Gamer. Yeah, much love, everybody. All praise to the Most High. As I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News live. Wednesday night. Ain't that right? Q City. MC Dirty. Yeah. Kim. Much love. Again, meaningless. Thank you for the coffee. Cooler. Pixie. Much love. Herman. Reaper. Miss Brady. Thank you all, Luna. Parker. Josh. Arrest Fauci. Christ is King. Got that right. Big D. Josie Wales. Jay from the Bill. Much love. Oh yeah. Hope all's well with old Eon out there. Deanne, whatever you were saying about what's going on, I'm not sure, but I hope everything is good with Eon. That's for sure. Again, everybody, much love. See you later. Good night. Thank you, Deanne, for the coffee. Much love. Ghost Rider. Rich the Prophet. Guess every play, baby. Much love.